I want to thank you all very much for inviting me here today to speak to you. I'm proud to be a songwriter, and I came here to represent my fellow songwriters. I've always loved music, playing music, writing music, and listening to music. I started my first band when I was 13. That band may not have achieved all that we hoped it would, but it was a start. And in my late teens, I was playing clubs and working as a gopher in a recording studio, all the while practicing my craft to ultimately become a songwriter. In 1982, I was lucky enough to have one of my songs played on the radio in New York City, and the rest is history. But the feeling then and now is the same, because there is nothing like the thrill of hearing one of your songs played on the radio. Today, when I think about all the aspiring songwriters out there looking for their first break, I feel compelled to speak up on their behalf, especially now during this global pandemic, when everyone is struggling. And songwriters are no exception. Musicians, road crews, and even lead singers struggle to work from home. Our home is in the studio or it's on the road. I personally can't wait to get back out there. But I came here today to talk about songwriting. Songwriting is a gift. It's an art, but it's also a job. As a songwriter, I had to learn to be an artist, but also to be a business person. Each song that you write is like starting and running a very new, small business. A songwriter pours their all into every song, and they deserve to be paid for their work. This is where the performing rights organizations, or PROs, come in. These organizations play an important role in making sure that songwriters get paid. The U.S. Copyright Act gives each songwriter the right to be paid when a song is publicly performed on radio stations, digital services, at a concert, or even in a bar. It's the PROs that license those songs and pay royalties to songwriters. Without the PROs, individual songwriters would have to enter into licenses with each individual radio station, digital service, or concert hall. The music licensing ecosystem has been built around the efficiencies created by the PROs. Songwriters and the people who want to license their songs rely on the PRO. Now, I know that ASCAP and BMI are the largest PROs, and I understand that they're big, like the telephone company or the big tech companies. So the good folks at the Antitrust Division of the Department of Justice are hosting us today, and they've put some rules in place called the consent decrees, which allow ASCAP and BMI to operate as big market players as long as they abide by the rules. Now, everybody knows that these decrees protect the music licenses, but the decrees also protect the songwriter. The decrees are in place to prevent ASCAP and BMI from using their market power against the smaller players in the system. And the smallest player, but the most important in the whole public performance space, is the songwriter. With existing rules, the system has been working. Songs get licensed, fans get to hear their music, and songwriters ultimately get paid. Now, I understand that lots of lawyers, economists, and politicians have come together both yesterday and today to talk about the consent decrees and whether they should be changed. But I am here to implore you to think about songwriters when you are discussing these rules. The consent decrees don't just impact the radio, the streaming services, ASCAP, or BMI. The consent decrees and the system that has been built around them affects songwriters most of all. ASCAP, BMI, and the consent decrees create the foundation of a songwriter's livelihood, and they protect a songwriter. Disruption to this well-established music licensing system could be catastrophic to today's songwriters and to those who are just starting out. Every new songwriter joins ASCAP or BMI. That songwriter knows that if they're lucky enough to ever write a hit song, they can get paid for it. Every young artist or songwriter I know felt like they never had a choice but to create music and to chase their dream. But the truth is, dreams just don't pay the rent. If we don't have a system in place to make sure that songwriters get paid, we risk depriving ourselves and our country of the next generation of the great American storyteller. I love being a songwriter. Now more than ever, I feel like my songs have given me a gift that is beyond 3 quarts of the truth, as they say in Nashville. My songs have given me the opportunity to use my platform as an artist to give back. This pandemic, it's causing immeasurable suffering. Earlier this year, I joined many fellow natives of my home state to participate in a relief effort focused on Jersey for Jersey, raising money to help fight COVID-19. Many days and nights since this pandemic began, I've been at the JBJ Soul Kitchen, washing dishes at our foundation, or working at our food bank, helping to feed people who are hurting. As a writer, I'm moved by life as I see it happen. One day, after seeing a photograph of myself washing dishes, I was asked, what should the caption under the photo read? And I replied, if you can't do what you do what you can. This song is the story of us, each of us living in this moment together. Because music and songwriting have given me so much, I feel the obligation to look out for the next generation of songwriters. We cannot take them for granted. Do not assume that they'll be able to write the songs that you get to sing at weddings or graduations or even at protests if they can't pay their bills. They need to be here to document our history, because songs bring us together. And in these trying times, when we need to find common ground, songwriting is there. There is no music business, no radio, no streaming, no concerts, no music without songs. So on behalf of all those aspiring songwriters out there, I implore you, please do not disrupt the system and change the decrees. Do nothing that could potentially harm the future of the songwriter. Do what you can to ensure that songwriters are protected. Consider this a collaboration. You get to be my co-writer. Be the future of America's storyteller right here, right now. You don't even have to learn how to play the guitar. Don't let your decisions stand in the way of the realization of that kid's dream to make a living from music. Do what you can to keep the heart of that dream beating in all the songwriters somewhere in a bedroom or a basement, picking out tunes for the first time. Because now, more than ever, during COVID, songwriters need stability. Songwriters and musicians have suffered enough. So please protect that young songwriter. Keep the consent decrees and the protections for songwriters in place so that they can write the song that forever changes your life. Thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity.